And we're live. Chris Nelson. We're going to give it a couple of minutes. I'm going to share this on Facebook pages. And we are going to be talking specifically about what is going to unfold for tomorrow. Lots and lots to talk about. So I want to go back here and see if I can pull. There we go. I want to share this on a few pages. Folks that are on right now, please share this on your Facebook page. Try to get as much posting as we possibly can. Again, folks that are on, about 9 of you, share this on your page. We will get started momentarily. Thank you for jumping on. We're going to be talking about the severe weather chances. Hello, 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 people that are coming on. Let's do a quick comment of where you're watching from, what you're looking for in terms of, information. And we'll get started in just a moment. We're going to try to get a couple of people on here. And I'm assuming this will get busier than normal once we get everyone on. Go back here. Oh, I know what I got to do. Something that always is weird with the audience. Got to make that public for people to be able to see. No idea why that does that, but automatically throws that on. So again, share this on your page. Let me know what you guys are looking for, and we'll get started in about 2 minutes. See what we got here. We're going to build this bad boy up. Share that on our profile here. We'll go back. Again, folks that are jumping on, 32 people on, 34, it's climbing. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes. Share this on your page. Let me know where you're watching from, and the information that you're looking for is pivotal in the kind of forecast that we want to be able to put together. And always appreciate that background information as we get it. We're going to talk about timing. We're going to talk about, so many different things and really the uncertainty of this forecast and why some are saying bust, some are saying boom, and I'll kind of give you my input of what I think is going to happen. Share this on one more page, and we will get started here. It's important for me to be able to get the outreach that we can as we go here. All right, folks, Chris Nelson live on Facebook. Got about 68 people on. We are going to start this Facebook Live. I wanted to share this a couple of times and do that intro from Mitchell County Regional Health Center and, of course, our loyal sponsors as well from Alpha Roofing Company. We are going to be tracking the chance for severe weather. The next 12 to 18 hours, we will specifically be doing a large amount of not only Facebook Lives, but we will also be possibly doing some storm chasing as well, depending upon how this all unfolds. Now, things are going to change, and that's where I'm going to start here. Things are going to change between now and tomorrow. Before I get there, 81 folks are on. I want to know where you're watching from. Give me some comments. Secondly, share this on your page. We have 84 people on here. We'd like to get over 100 before we really get started. So it's a simple share, and when you share on there, just put a public service announcement. Make sure you're watching for severe weather tomorrow. There will be 2 rounds. So making sure that everyone is aware of those 2 rounds and what could unfold into the afternoon and evening, which will be a much bigger threat for severe weather, I think, overall, if we can clear out quick enough. About 5 minutes in, again, we are just getting started. Got about 101 people. Appreciate everyone coming on. We are going to look from the Storm Prediction Center. I am going to likely stay up until 12:30 tonight, and that is when the next SPC outlook will come out. The Storm Prediction Center has put out an enhanced risk of severe weather already really 2 days out. They had this late last night. And what the enhanced means is level 3. Gotten a few comments like, it's only level 3, no biggie. And in fact, I had a meteorologist, female meteorologist down in the Cedar Rapids area, basically call me out and say, this is 3 days out. We don't need to be talking about this. I completely disagree. It's all about the language and how you speak about it. We are not sensationalizing. We are making sure that we are informing folks of the chances for severe weather, which is obviously going to be taking place. So we may see an upgrade here to level 4, which is very rare. Those that remember August 11th last year, the derecho that hit and basically was the storm of the century in Iowa, that was a moderate threat of severe weather. That was level 4. You get up to level 4, and it's pretty rare to get up to that category. So we've been 2 days out, and we are at that level 3. We will see how everything, again, kind of comes together from a dynamic standpoint, the ingredients in the atmosphere, how that will come in, and see how it all sets up. Right now, the primary threats with the severe weather look to be damaging winds and large hail. There could be a few tornadoes. Still a lot of things to talk about. So we're going to keep that SPC enhanced risk still up. I do want to show you a couple of things here. This is the convective outlook, and this gives you a couple of categories of what you can look at. Again, about 140 people on. I appreciate everyone on. Do a quick share on your Facebook page, a nice PSA, public service announcement, saying, hey, folks, family members, loved ones, friends, make sure you're watching for severe weather in 2 rounds for tomorrow. It's a quick share. And also just give us a comment of where you're watching from. I really, really appreciate that. So we'll put the cities in so you kind of get an idea of where this is. Again, I showed you this earlier. Now, the big threat looks to be, and this is all going to look different tomorrow, but the big threat appears to be wind. And it does include all of North Iowa, all of southern Minnesota, I-90, and even north in between 90 and 94, and a chunk of Wisconsin running from Highway 29 south, including Madison, Milwaukee, Green Bay, Sheboygan, Manitowoc, Wisconsin Dells, La Crosse, Eau Claire. In Iowa, this is going all the way south into Des Moines, Ames, Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Mason City, Decorah, Osage, and then west, as far west as Sioux City. So significantly, this is going to be impacting, it looks like, a large area for wind. Hail doesn't look like as much of a threat. What we are going to be keeping an eye on for the threat of hail, I think, will be more of those supercells firing into the afternoon. 5% chance of severe weather doesn't seem like much. That 5% represents a probability within 25 miles. Seems like low, but if you do the mathematics, it's not 0. 5 is up there. And if you get any hatched areas or up to 10%, that becomes a little more significant. And you really, really got to watch out of how this is all going to interact within the atmosphere. Let's look at what the National Weather Service is saying from an index standpoint. Break this down a little bit. Again, folks that are on, share this on your page. Comments of where you're liking from, and we will answer questions at the very end. So make sure you stay on. I'm going to go through a few things with you, just step by step. So you can see all the areas. Again, this is kind of breaking things down in 2 different rounds. Number 1, a line of storm sweeps through mid-morning to mid-afternoon. The quicker those go through, the more potent round number 2 becomes. And that is obviously an utmost importance of where that round number 2 comes in, because the shear and the ingredients are higher. There's a higher probability for supercells, large hail, and tornadic weather in the second round of severe weather. Second round, that's when we're uncertain of right now. You can see things really begin to migrate up in round number 2. Wind is still up there, but if you get round number 2 in there, there's a little punch in there. It looks like it's especially south of I-90. That looks to be the area of concern. There's a look at 10 a.m. Mason City, Clear Lake, Albert Lee, Mankato, Fairmont, even Waterloo already getting hit by some rain and storms by lunchtime tomorrow. You're already starting to see a Boeing segment taking place as it roars through the Mississippi River Valley. Prairie du Chien, Dubuque, La Crosse, they're all getting hit. And then at that point, 4 o'clock, that Boeing segment is in the Fox Valley, already east of Madison and going through Green Bay, Door County, and eventually Milwaukee. Round number 2 comes in by 6 o'clock. So there's that little break in the action. Cold front begins to carve its way through. Line of showers and thunderstorms after 5 o'clock. These are where things could become a little more severe. Main threat of severe weather looks like it's trying to carve a little bit south and east. So that gives you an elevated look for Rochester, Charles City for the afternoon and evening for 6 o'clock, and could continue for La Crosse, Prairie du Chien, and Charles City. Rainfall could also be a thing you got to keep a close eye on as well, where there could be a slight chance of excessive rainfall, potential flooding as well for some of those areas, including right around the Mississippi River, Prairie du Chien, Decorah, maybe even as far east as Cresco and Charles City, Owine, Platteville, Madison, and even as far northwest as it looks like Mason City and Austin. I'm going to go back and I want to plug in Mason City and look at what Des Moines National Weather Service is talking about. Clear Lake forecast for tomorrow is not incredibly warm, and that's something you got to see in the forecast as well. Is there going to be enough to destabilize the atmosphere? Here is what we're looking for. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Des Moines put out several rounds of severe weather. You can take a look at that as I'm kind of peeking through. They said another update is coming 8 a.m. on a Wednesday. Would expect that to be probably a little bit sooner. You can begin to see, again, this is from the SPC Day 2, which is 2 days out, where they're more focusing on for the wind threat. This is looking to be more a chance for widespread wind damage rather than maybe hail. But we'll see if this tornado probability goes up at all. Rainfall, obviously, is going to be key as well. Let's get to the models, and we will try to time all this out. We'll look at a variety of different computer models. The first one I want to look at is the high res. High res is at 0Z, which gives us a little bit longer of that high res solution for the next, I think it goes up, looks like 48 hours. So that's a nice look at the next day or two. Okay. Here comes a line of thunderstorms developing over the Dakotas overnight. This is early in the morning. Already have a little Boeing segment taking place. Line of thunderstorms roaring through southern Minnesota and especially north and central Iowa. And as it crosses, you can see this is becoming an MCS. You're seeing this almost frontal boundary setting up and almost a meso low developing, which is going to cause a lot of different wind to gust. You could see some of these wind gusts likely to 50, 60 knots, which may be a whole segment line of severe thunderstorms powering through Wisconsin before it begins to weaken as it hits Lake Michigan. Now, what we turn to then is going to be about 3, 4 o'clock. You start to get a little bit of clearing, and that is going to be the deciding factor of, all right, what is the atmosphere going to do? Think about this. An air parcel rises if it's warmer than its environment. So say we have a ball. This is the air parcel. And if this air parcel is 75 degrees and the air around it is 80, there's going to be a cap, and that air parcel is not going to be rising. But if these air parcels around here begin to rise and warmer than the environment, you break the cap and you can get convection. We need to break the cap. We need to warm things up upstairs in the atmosphere. The rule of thumb, obviously, is you go up, 1,000 meters, I think it is. I got to go back to my textbook. I believe 1,000 meters, it goes down 10 degrees Celsius. So, as you get up closer to the stratosphere, you cool off significantly, and then you get into the ozone later, it begins to get warmer. What we want to see is warm temperatures at the surface and sunshine early afternoon. If that happens, that will mean not only for us to get convection and showers and thunderstorms, but that could mean also some severe weather. So you can start to see that line 5, 6 o'clock beginning to develop. Where that fires, that's going to be right now. You almost have to wait for that morning convection. But I've always felt that the HRRR model does one of the best jobs since it has such a higher resolution. It looks at some of these parameters at a much bigger scale, meaning you're going to get some of those. You're going to get the readings from the model, within, for example, 5 kilometer space, rather than some of these bigger models are going to be 50. I can't remember what the spacing is. So that gives you a much better reading and a better chance of accuracy and being able to help out in that snowball effect. Because again, if you have, say in a model thinks you're going here and it actually goes here, it screws up everything going forward. So with the HRRR, it's got an hour by hour forecast. That usually helps to take out any of the errors within the computer model. If, say, there's slight adjustments, cooler temperatures, stronger winds, different vector analysis, meaning wind direction changes aloft or at the surface, there can be a lot of different things that can happen. So I've always felt that this does a pretty good job. It does appear that there is going to be some type of line. You can see these wind vectors coming north, and you can see these wind vectors coming south. That is where the line sets up. That's the front, and that's where the initiation is going to take place. You're going to start to get some nasty thunderstorms moving in. Now, the tornado parameters do not seem as great as what they were this time last night. So some good news there. I'll be honest, last night I was thinking like, oh man, this is looking to be pretty good, and then it's backed off a little bit. Thirsty from talking too much. I was talking too much today as well. So that's kind of the way it looks. So expect a line of thunderstorms late morning, depending upon it's going to be late morning if you're west of I-35, and it's going to be around lunchtime and thereafter if you're along 35 and east. Keep an eye on the forecast. I mean, any weather app is going to be able to give you access to radar. It's going to give you access to alerts, any watches or warnings that are taking place, and it's going to give you an hour by hour forecast. That's really what you want. If you want to get involved a little more elaborately, where you are going to be wanting to look at velocity data and any shear markers or lightning detectors, which actually a lot of our apps are doing lightning. But if you want to look at some of those instability parameters, you can get radar scope, which I have, and I think a lot of other people that are more in tune with weather or appreciate it more. They'll spend the $9.99. It's a one-time fee. You can use it whenever you want. But other than that, if you're just looking to look at radar and making sure you have watches and warnings, AccuWeather is good. WeatherBell is good. What are some other ones? Did I say Weather Channel? I think I said Weather Channel. Most people, even the Apple one or the Android one, are going to be just fine. So I am curious to see then what type of clearing we get. We can actually look at that, I believe, here. Here's the visibility. No, that's not the one I want. Average cloud cover. That's what I want. So this shows thunderstorms rolling through. And it looks like there's a couple of breaks maybe in the action, but that is not all favorable. I mean, you're wanting a little bit more clearing to take place to have any type of real big time threats for severe weather in terms of volatile tornadic supercells. But again, you need some clearing for that, I think, to really take place. We'll look at one other model, and then I'll start to answer some questions. Got 124 people on. Thanks for joining us on this, severe weather edition on the Facebook page. Share this on your page. Alert others. Make sure you tell your loved ones what's going on tomorrow, because we haven't had a lot of severe weather. But as I told a couple other people, the way the severe weather season is, this may be our best chance for widespread severe weather, depending upon if it happens or not. The dynamics are best as of now than it's been all year. So let's go to the NAM. And this is showing something this is brand new, by the way. This is showing this going a little bit farther north. And then look at the Boeing segment. Look at the wind gust and see if that has, it's got a little bit, looks like it strengthens over northeast Iowa, where you're going to get some maybe 50-mile-an-hour gusts, but it doesn't look like anything quite severe. Let's go back to Sim Radar. That's initial one. And then it looks like there's some clearing. And then boom, big line of thunderstorms, let's say about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. then it turns pretty nasty. Look at that line. When you see a line like that, you can see a derecho coming through. I know I heard a couple of people, Weather Nuts, talking about QLCSs. It's folks that are on might be able to help me. I think it's quasi-linear convective systems. I think that's what it is. So what you're looking for is line of thunderstorms that can produce vortices or more or less tornadoes within these embedded thunderstorms or Boeing segments. So you're going to see a Boeing segment like this. You're going to get some rotation in there just based on all the wind direction changes within the complex of thunderstorms. And I mean, if you look at this from a wind gust standpoint, doesn't look like it's anything too crazy. You got some knots in there that might be 50, 60 mile an hour winds. So I'm going to look at some of the comments. I will go through. Got a lot of highs. I appreciate that. I'm going to pass those up, and I'm going to talk about lots of highs. Folks that are on, thank you. Share on your Facebook page. Mackenzie asked a good question, and I kind of hit on this earlier. When the derecho happened, the risk was moderate. I remember looking at it at 12:30 at night prior because I was expecting severe weather, and I was going to go chase because I was heading in that direction, I think, to spend some time in either in Green Bay or Cedarburg. And I ended up thinking like, all right, I'm going to go chase this day. And I went on, I'm like, whoa. And then it was a marginal threat of severe weather, which was level 1. I'm like, they got to do something about this. Woke up the next morning to my buddies from Alpha Roofing Company saying, hey, did you see what happened in Des Moines? And I started looking. I'm like, holy SHIT, like what in the hell just happened? And I look back and they finally put a moderate risk of severe weather. And I laugh at how defensive the meteorologists got down in the Mason City, Des Moines area, because I remember watching some of the stuff, and there was no one Sunday night talking about something like that moving through. I would come on air and say, yeah, things changed completely. There's no reason to be defensive about it. But I remember seeing how that outflow boundary really kicked in, and it looked like, holy moly, the models were changing significantly and everything. Again, I mean, August 11th happened. Let's see. Will we get Mason City again, tornadoes? Again, we have to see how this all plays out. But the way I'm seeing it, looks like we have leveled off a bit, but I do not want anybody to let their guard down at this time. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing the post. Supercells, yep. Let's see what else we have here. Had a question. At times I do talk about Illinois. Most of my followers and people that are on my Facebook page are in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. But again, there is going to be a chance, it sounds like maybe northwestern corners of Illinois, that there could be some of that severe weather. See what we got here. Let's see what Tony says. What would have to change? What would have to change back to what you saw last night for Tees tomorrow that aren't forecasted anymore? I just don't see the tornado parameters as high as what I saw on Monday and Tuesday. Secondly, destabilization, Tony, is just not happening. I think that line of thunderstorms is just moving in maybe a little bit too late in the day. If you get those thunderstorms rolling through 9, 10 o'clock, even 11 o'clock, you can get those out. You can clear out fast enough by 1, 2, 3 o'clock and still get some daytime heating this time of year. The sunset doesn't set until 9 o'clock in some areas still. You're still going to be able to get some of that. I'm worried about too much cloud cover that would inhibit any more development of thunderstorms, at least the tornadic and the severe type. Oh, I had a question of where would I go chasing? I'm going to see how it all plays out tomorrow morning. My plan has always been probably, I could situate myself in between Charles City and Mason City. I may start out in Osage, just kind of get an idea of where we're going to go. But I think right now, I kind of have to figure out exactly how this is going to play out from now. Good question. Estimated rainfall totals looking between 1 and 4 inches, mainly for northeastern Iowa and southern Minnesota. Dave asking about Wisconsin. I'm going to go back, and I do have some Wisconsin followers on here, so I do want to mention a little bit about the SPC regional outlook here. And again, anyone that's on, will be able to see pretty much the whole Midwest. Now, again, the SPC, the enhanced, the Storm Prediction Center, they have a severe weather outlook. They're putting this out for Wednesday. It does include most of the Green Bay Metro, including the Fox Valley. So, you go from Green Bay, Freedom, Wrightstown, Kaukauna, Combined Locks, Kimberly, Appleton, Needham, Menasha, Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, and then east into Chilton. Looks like it gets close to Manitowoc, Sheboygan, Milwaukee, Waukesha, and then west into Madison. Of course, a chunk of Iowa, a chunk of Minnesota, and pretty much from Wausau, Eau Claire south is the enhanced area. I think, folks, there will see possibly 2 rounds of severe weather. It's the second round that everyone is more concerned about because of the daytime heating, Dave. So, that morning convection, let's see if it eliminates anything for the afternoon or evening. Noah asking, what's the best area to head tomorrow? I think, Noah, where you're at, I think, Noah, you're in Albert Lea. I don't think Albert Lee's a bad spot. I think Albert Lee's a great area to chase because there's really no better way to get around if you want to try going east and west and north and south than I-35 and I-90. I mean, you look around, you look around anywhere, any intersecting interstate, you don't have anything better, I think, to be able to get somewhere than Albert Lea. So Albert Lee's probably not a bad spot, and just kind of hold tight and see how the morning is going to go, and then take a look at some of the computer models. Photograph, Nate, I'm not going to probably get into because that's probably going to be over people's heads. Tomorrow I may hit on that, especially if it's something impressive. We may even show a SKU-T, see if there's any type of cape or backing, anything significant, especially in terms of instability and cape, and see if there's any convective inhibition. Pretty much the same thing. You're going to see early afternoon for Atlanta thunderstorms, and then later. Jonathan. Cloud cover equals bad news if you want severe weather most of the time. Yeah, I can remember so many bus forecasts. I can remember so many in the Milwaukee area and growing up in Green Bay that, same kind of situation, that dynamics are there, but then you get a cloud deck that's 1,000 feet up and it's 3 o'clock and you're like, this ain't happening. And man, if it's cloudy at 3 o'clock outside, it's probably not happening. Steve, your future radars you showed looks like extreme southeastern Minnesota, southern Wisconsin, extreme north looks like the best. Yeah, that's where the parameters, Steve, look the best. Folks that are wanting to chase and really set up chasing well. Look in the morning, track out where the thunderstorms are, where they're going to move out, and then figure out, again, hey, Prairie du Chien, Dubuque, La Crosse, Platteville, those areas. Think about, hey, maybe I need to head east, southeast, west, wherever. All right, folks, I will be back on tomorrow morning with an update. I got to get a haircut at 10 o'clock, but I will have another update tomorrow morning. Of course, as always, I thank my sponsors, Alpha Roofing Company and Mitchell County Regional Health Center. Take care, God bless, and we'll have another update coming up tomorrow, guys. Bye.